Hi guys, welcome back to Chamber of Chess. Now I'm gonna show you a game with my brother Ed that we played back in 2015. Actually, we played without the chess clock, so we put a lot of effort and time in this game. And the most unique thing was the position we ended up with, five queens. It's the rarest thing I saw in chess when there are, let's say, three queens on one side and two on another. I saw four queens in a game and I'm going to share with you one game after this. But this was very unique and memorable thing personally for me. But just so you won't assume that we set this position up from scratch, I'm just going to show you right from the beginning. A typical Sicilian variation. Bishop c5, knight f6, queen c7, knight c6 are also common moves. Bishop a7 is another option. Now this move is a bit useless because I don't want to go e5 here since he's gonna trade. Uh, the better move would be c4 or queen g4 to make him actually protect the pawn with his king, say g6 or bishop f6, which is actually losing the tempo. And in the opening, you really want to develop as many pieces as possible, different pieces. Knight f6. And just general development. So far, so good. Now, instead of this, I could have gone for g4 with the idea of g5 and potentially undermine black kingside. h3 is good here, not to let the black knight to jump on g4. Now here, white is clearly better due to space, and this pawn is very strong. Actually, I'm forcing the knight away. Now, knight d4 would have been better. But I played h4, which actually made sense to me back then, since I really didn't want this knight to be anywhere near the center. But it's really not necessary here. Queen d8. A rook fd8 would have been better. Like I said, it's always good to develop all your pieces, and especially here, just putting your rook on a potentially open file. It's fine. And here again. White has a great advantage in with rooks and on this file specifically. C5. Now, from here on, I started exchanging pieces, which is really not a right thing to do when you have a not a material but a space advantage. So, because here my all pieces are active, and I really want to keep it that way instead of trading. For example, queen d2. And here, I guess black just has to take the pawn, and after this, it's just an exchange down, although this knight is trying to put up some resistance, but it's still bad for black. We traded pawns, and this was a very bad mistake, because here, at least I have active rooks, and I should just move for queen a6, and here I got a strong pawn. I mean, here I really lost my advantage, and black really starts to take the initiative. Queen f4 is really good. Instead of taking the pawn, he's just gonna keep attacking. Queen d5. I got really lucky because I missed this move, but my queen was still protecting. Otherwise, it would have been checkmate. F3. Here, g5 was actually winning, and we both missed that. Knight g6, and he's attacking the pawn. a4, h4. And although black is two pawns down, but my king is in a terrible condition here. I get lucky if I end up without a bishop. Now here, I actually managed to I mean, still very unpleasant for white to play. Because even I have two passed pawns here, but it's called Pawn Island. So I have one island and potentially two islands. I mean, total two islands. But white has two islands, but in black's case, it's just one strong pawn chain. The knight is protected and it's very active knight. There is no way for me to trade it. And the king is very safe, so it's very easy for black to keep pushing. Now it just shows that we really weren't that good at chess back then because we thought that the position is more or less equal. I thought I'm a bit worse, but I really wanted to use my these pawns eventually. And we just started repeating moves. I could have gone king g1 with a draw. And that's really what I should do because here I'm clearly worse. Black could have just easily played king a3, attack the pawn, king g2, and I mean, black should just use this pawn. And now I have passed pawns which are actually blocked. One of them is blocked, but black has very active queen, the knight that is guarding a few squares around my king, and this pawn is just getting promoted gradually. Queen h1. Now this was premature. Again, you should have just gone for queen a3 here. Now here, I already managed to make my position a bit more stable. My bishop is not passive anymore. He's still on the diagonal. My queen is okay. My pawns are good, protected. And my king is safe, more or less. Now, this move was really not the best one since black really doesn't want to trade now because this knight is way better around my king than my bishop is. So you could have just chosen queen d5, centralizing pieces, and just go for it now. So he's gonna trade whenever he finds it comfortable. And here he wins this pawn. My pawn is weak, but it's okay, so it's still around equality here. From here on, I was playing okay, and that's why I managed to get it back to the winning position. But at some point, I got really confused, and it was hard for me to win the position that should be very easily won. For example, here I should have just gone king d7, check, and king e8. There are no more checks, and actually his own pawns are protecting me from checks. King a6 would be better. E4 here. King a8 is actually very bad, very bad. King a6, or for example, just check and I just keep pushing my pawns. It's very easy for me to play. Check, king b7. He really could have gone for. I mean, even here, I already lost my chance because after queen e5, he's centralizing his queen. It's like a rook endgame. He's guarding his own pawn from behind. He's supporting it. At the same time, he attacks this pawn, so there's no way for me to push without getting checked and losing my pawn. So the only choice for me is a6, e3, b7, and this position is actually equal. I mean, black still has to make a few accurate moves to hold it, but once he finds it, it's just a perpetual anyway. King b7, check. Yeah, and back to the position we started with. Five queens, like I said, rarest thing I've ever seen. Here, in order to put up at least some struggle, he could have just checked me this way. So we are not trading immediately. And I'm good with trade because I have an extra queen after all. But he really wants to keep the pressure, and king d8 is the only way to win. Otherwise, it's just a perpetual. So I mean, I have to find the right move, but it's very easy for me to make a mistake and end up with a perpetual. Because here is just way easy for me to play and avoid any checks. Eventually, I'm going to win with check, and that's it. All right, so that's for this game, and I want to refer to two legendary players, Alexander Alokin and Jose Raul Capablanca, during their match in 1927 in Buenos Aires. Capablanca was a world champion back then, and Alokin was a challenger. And the position that gave me a flashback from here was, I think it was the fourth or fifth winning game by Alokin in the match. Here, Capablanca resigned because after Queen G2 and just Queen H1, checkmate. And that's what I thought of when I saw my own game. That's it, guys. Subscribe, leave your comments under the video. And if you go back to our first video, you'll see that we're giving chess classes. The first one is free. So if you just have any questions, let us know. And I'll see you soon.